In this video, I am going to solve this problem. The problem is, if k is 70 degrees, then show that square root of 3 times secant k minus cosecant k is equal to 4. To solve this problem, I am going to use simple trig properties and trig formulas like sin a minus b formula, and then also some values of trig functions like sine, cosines, and so on. And what I am going to do, I am going to start off with the left hand side, which is this one, and then simplify it and come up with the right hand side. So that's the objective. Here are the two formulas that I would be using directly in solving this problem. Sin a minus b is equal to sin a cosine b minus sin b cosine a, and sin of pi minus theta is equal to sin of theta. So let's start off with the left hand side. So this is my left hand side. Now given that k is 70 degrees, I just plug in the values of k to get this square root of 3 times secant of 70 degree minus cosecant of 70 degrees. Now notice that secant of 70 degrees is 1 over cosine of 70 degrees. So I can write this thing as square root of 3 over cosine of 70 degrees. Similarly, cosecant of 70 degrees is 1 over sine of 70 degrees. So I write it here. Now I'm going to combine these two fractions and come up with a single expression. If I do that, I get the following, this expression. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of manipulate a little bit this expression in terms of constants and come up with an expression that will be sort of equivalent to the right hand side of this equation, and from there I'm going to come to this. And then also in the denominator I'm going to use the sine double angle formula, sine 2 theta formula, and simplify the denominator. Now this is the critical step of this problem. So far what I have done is very simple, straightforward thing. So now I am introducing the constant 4 here. So I have this constant 4. Now I am multiplying the numerator by 1/2. So 1/2 times 4 is going to be 2. Then I am multiplying the denominator by 2. So these 2 and 2 are going to cancel out. So just to give you an sort of like side view of things, so I have 4 times 1/2, okay, divided by 2. So 2 goes into 4 twice, so that's going to give me 2 on the numerator, and in the denominator I have 2, which is like just 1. So you can multiply anything by 1 without changing the value of that thing, right? So that's what it is I have done. Now I distribute this 1/2 to this and then to this. If I do that, I get this. And in the denominator, I have 2 sine 70 degree, cosine 70 degree. Now I can use the double angle formula and also note the following, which is this value square root of 3 over 2 is cosine 30 degrees. And 1/2 is sine 30 degrees. So I'm going to plug in those values here. If I do that, I get the following, this. Now this is like sine 70 cosine 30 minus sine 30 cosine 70, which is by the way same as sine of 70 degrees minus 30 degrees. Now in the denominator, sine of 140, which I'm going to write it like this, sine of pi minus theta. So 140 is sine of pi minus 40, right? 40 degrees. I technically mixed things up here, so let me clean it up a little bit. So instead of pi, I put here 180 degrees to be consistent, right? Everything else is in degrees. So now what I have is 4, so this should be 4 times. On the numerator, I have sine of 40 degrees, 70 minus 30 is 40, so sine of 40 degrees, right? In the denominator, what I have, sine of pi minus theta. So this is 180 degree minus theta is sine of theta, which is sine of 40 degrees, right? So this and this is going to cancel out. That's going to give me 4, which is, by the way, the right hand side of the desired equation. So this is the right hand side. So let me quickly summarize what I have done. I have taken the left hand side of the equation that we need to show, and then applied sine A minus B, sine pi minus theta formula, and also sine 2 theta formula or double angle formula. I replace the value of k by 70 since k is 70 degrees, and then I simplify it, and then I manipulate the constants right here, which is multiplied by 4 and divided by 4. And then once I do that, things become a bit nicer, and I use the fact that sine 30 is square root of 3 over cosine 30 is square root of 3 over 2 and sine 30 is half. I use these two facts and then express it in this format, which is basically this formula, sine A minus B, and then I simplify things. I get sine 40 over sine 40 times 4, so they cancel out. That gives me 4. I hope that this discussion was helpful. Thank you very much.